Hello all and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. It is now the 24th of summer, and I have taken a quest from Mr. Key where I need to go and catch the relatives of the legendary fish. And I have decided to essentially abandon that quest. I do not think that that is genuinely feasible for me to actually achieve. Because of this fact, I have decided to ignore it entirely. And in a previous video, I mentioned that I really need to industrialize and work hard on Ginger Island. So, what I've done over the last 3 hours, because it is 9:20, is I've run around the farm and I've harvested stuff and I've got everything ready. Because we're going straight to Ginger Island, and we're going to make this better. Now, my first test is to see, so we get 5 sap from a heavy tapper, and 5 sap from a regular. So, looks like we're taking the heavy tapper off, and we're just putting regular tappers on all of those trees. What I'm also planning on doing is I'm going to put a bunch more of the seeds here on the farm, on Ginger Island, and I'm just going to have as many of them as possible, all covered in tappers, just to generate sap. That's going to be the main aim here. Now, I know that I don't have enough of this particular fertilizer here to improve all of these plots of land, so I'm going to try and create more of them as I go. At the moment, I'm a little bit disappointed by that, because yes, that's a lot of an opportunity that not quite wasted, but it isn't, well, as useful, unfortunately. So, it happens, we'll live. But for now, we're going to hoe up all this land, and we're going to plant starfruit. We're going to make this entire area just starfruit city. And we're going to put all the high quality fertilizer here. And we're just going to try and hope for the best. Because the more money we can make here, the better. It's generally the rule of thumb here. We just need as much money as possible. So, we're going to give that a go. Okay, so hopefully we can do some other generally fantastic stuff with this nonsense. But we've got lots of opportunity to plant this. Now, I know I've got a couple more of the high-pressure nozzles, which I'm going to put on, obviously, because that'd be really daft of me not to. But, of course, I'm going to try and squeeze in as many as possible of these quality sprinklers, because, again, I'm trying to aim for money. So that's going to be the main aim here. So, again, we're going to put that there, going to slap that with that, and we're going to put some more of the starfruit in. Now, what I'm debating is whether I just go to town and kind of just slap as many of these starfruit down and just keep growing starfruit, because honestly, that's going to be the most financially viable option for me at the moment. Because yes, I can turn them into wine, I can just sell them. It's I just want to get the money on this one. And I don't think that's an impossible ask or task. But of course, we're going to make sure we have lots of land all hoed up here. We're going to water it all. We're going to plant the seeds. And then I think I'm just going to try and figure out what's the next plan of action. And I think today I should probably visit the quarry, cut down the trees that are there, and once they're cut down, try to well, maybe I might just ignore them for the time being, because whilst they're there, it's not really the end of the world. Like, because I know I've got a lot of trees that are planted there, so I could essentially just ignore what's already there. Like, I don't need to worry about it, because other plants will replace them, which is kind of good. But anyway, we'll just slap these down here, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so that's that, and we'll remove that one. We will slap down some more high quality fertilizer. Okay, so we've still not quite got them all, but that's not the end of the world. See what else we can do here. Okay. So that looks pretty good. I've got enough space here to put another one down here, so that's good. I know it's not going to be perfect, but again, it's just maximizing the rewards here. Because, yeah, I just want as many crops growing here as possible. And that's not a bad shout, I don't think. Okay. So we're currently sitting pretty at about 2 million. One of the other things that I do need to do as well is I really want to go and visit Clint, and I want to see what he can give us in the ways of from our, what are they called, from the geodes that we've got, because we've got quite a few geodes lying around, and it probably wouldn't hurt for me to kind of, you know, work my way through them. And once we sort that out, like the geodes, that is, then what we could do is hope that we get marble, and we also need aquamarine so we can make the marble braziers. Now I want to make 2 of them, so we'll have to see what we actually get out of all the breaking of the geodes. I'm not expecting to get 2, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to slap another one here, and that'll be good. And I think that's going to give me another option for another high pressure one, and that'll be nice, because that's what we're after here, is just, again, as much land as possible. And actually, if I'm clever about it, I'll move it down 1, and that should give me an even better end result here. So we'll give that a chance. I think that's going to be the plan. Well, let's see what we get now. But yeah, you know, I've got a cunning plan. We'll see how well it goes. It might go well. Who knows? But yeah, we're going to water all of this. That's fine. And again, we're going to slap down the starfruit and just work our way through it. I'm going to have to make more of the kegs and the preserving jars. Not the end of the world. Not super difficult to do. It's just I'm going to have to definitely do it so I can actually make a bit more of the way of jams and pickles and so on and so forth. Which, not super complicated, super difficult, or anything too major to worry about, to be perfectly honest with you. Right, let's summon the horse. Okay, so that looks a little bit better there, I think. Now, I need more tappers here. That's not going to be too much of a problem. Okay, I don't have any copper bars here, so I'm not going to bother making them. I'm just going to grab some from home, for want of a better phrase. I definitely got some. I think I've got quite a few, to be honest with you. Like an absolute silly amount of them. But again, I'm going to try and give myself a bit of a speed boost, just get a wiggle on, for want of a better phrase. Just so I can get myself all organised here. Okay, eat the spicy eel for a bit of speed. Oh, look at that. So we've got quite a few. We're pretty much golden on that one. So that's fine. Okay. But I do want to make some more of the pickling and preserve jars. And I know they're going to cost quite a lot of wood. So thankfully, we are going to head over to the quarry. And I think the best way for me to do that is to actually take the minecart. I think. I mean, that seems to make the most sense. At least to me it does. So we're going to quickly grab these bits of vaguely useful material that we're going to then fling straight in for sale, that we don't have to worry about. That's fine. And here we go. So, let's cut down a bunch of trees and see where we end up with this one. Because cutting all the trees down is fine. It's just going to give me some more sap and wood, and both of those are particularly useful. Because the wood is going to be used in the making of the preserves jars. The sap itself is going to be used in making the rather intensely useful fertilizer. Now, the question I then have, unfortunately, is trying to figure out how much of it am I actually going to end up with. Hopefully a decent amount. Like, genuinely, I hope I end up with a decent chunk, because otherwise I'm not going to be in quite as good a position as I would have hoped, sadly. So we can see and kind of hope on that one. Okay, so we're going to cut down that tree. I mean, all the general lumberjacking isn't exactly a bad thing. It's just a thing. We're going to cut down all the trees. And the thing is, we've got so many already growing here. Now, I'm debating whether I plant a bunch of the mahogany trees here, like maybe in this lower section of the map here, and turn that into a sap generation, and then just come here every day and just generate sap. And if I do that, what I will do as well is I'm going to like lay down some flooring and make it look a bit more planned, I think is probably the best way of putting it. Because, yeah, currently it's not like it's looking in like a particularly planned or organised in any way, shape or form. Also, I don't really care about having, like, the stones generated here. In the same way that I didn't really care too much about the stone generation down here on the farm. Because it doesn't matter as much. Like, I'm gonna generate it anyway. So, and I can always head the mines regardless. It's one of those things that it's useful early game, but it's not that useful now, sadly. So it's not really the end of the world, but it's just, you know, how it goes. Okay, so let's teleport ourselves there. And, well. Okay. So I'm going to quickly ride on over, see if we can cut down any more trees, see if there's anything else that we can get from here. Just again, I'm after the money. That's really all I can say I'm here after, is I'm just after as much money generation as possible. And yeah, it's just going to be how it goes. We'll figure it out. Okay, so we've got loads of clay and stone, so I might want to do something with that. I don't know. I don't really think so. Let's see what we can get on the panning side of things. Anything useful? Some more seeds, that's fine. Got some other miscellanea. I'm just going to quickly sell the copper ore because I don't really need copper at the moment. Honestly, I'm not too fussed or worried about it at the time being. Yes, copper would be kind of handy for making of the kegs. But again, I've got a fair old crack of that already, so I'm not too worried. And I'm going to end up in the mines at some point again anyway, so I will end up getting more of it down the line. So it's not the end of the world regardless. But yes, I'm going to put these tappers on the trees for now, and I'm going to plant some more because I do want more sap generation. And I think that's going to be a constant common trend, is I just want sap generation to just be like increased. So by planting it on the grass here, because I don't care about the grass, I mean, I can't really use it, can I? It's not useful for anything, so I can just get rid of it and be done with it, really. So that's that. Okay, and we'll just slap a bit more down. Okay, it's getting a bit late now, so we're coming up to 12:40. Should probably err on the side of caution a little bit about making sure I actually roll on back home. Okay, that looks pretty good. Perfect. So let's slap this fertilizer in that we've got. And we're gonna come back later on when all this is harvested and put some more down, because that's a good idea. Okay, so we've got some diamonds. Lovely. And again, diamonds are going to be a constantly useful generation thing, and I think having more crystallariums to make more of those might not be a bad idea. I don't know what the sort of like the return speed is on crystallariums. I don't think it's too bad, to be perfectly honest with you, so maybe that's another theoretical possibility. So, we're going to just grab some of this. And again, I do rather enjoy how my child is wearing a knight's helmet. It looks rather fetching, I feel. Because, you know, I'm clearly figuring out the most fetching attire for my child. Goodness gracious, I'm so powerful with my use of the English language. Somehow, I just don't understand why I don't fall down more. Anyway. Okay, so we're going to sort that out. We're going to check this. And here we go. So I'm just going to quickly grab some... Oh, okay, my inventory's pretty full. Looks like we might have had a couple more lightning strikes than I would have liked. And that's not good. In honesty, that's kind of frustrating. Because we've lost a couple of crops. Not the end of the world. It's still annoying. And I do need to kind of sort that out. Because shockingly enough, I don't really want to lose crops. It's kind of bad. So yeah, we'll figure that out. And kind of hope for the best on that one. Okay, so we've got some tomcat soup. We'll just quickly sell a bunch of stuff that we don't need, like the batteries. Because again, don't need those. Now, I do need to have a look and see what I can get from the desert. In regards to, what do I need to make solar panels? Because I think putting a bunch of solar panels into the desert is probably going to be a good way of making the desert make me money. And it's not a, like, monstrously valuable place otherwise. So, again, if I can make that, that might work out quite well for me. Hopefully. We will see on that regard, because that might work out well. It might also not work out at all. So, it's going to be a we will see how that goes. But yeah, you know, I've got a logic. I've got a plan. There is method to the madness, I promise. Whether it's a particularly good madness, I couldn't say. But, of course, the joys of Tuesday, we also have the other joy, unfortunately, of me having to quickly zip around, and I need to go and visit Clint today. Now, I think the amount of geodes that I have is not, like, absurd, but I do have quite a few of them, and I think that might be a bit of a time sink for myself. So, that's not going to be the end of the world, though. Okay, so let's get that. That's the battery packs. Again, just the batteries are they're useful to sell, so I don't need them right now for anything, so we'll just use them. Slide that down. So we've only got like another 3 days left. Here. Unfortunately. Which is a bit of a crying shame in the grand scheme of things. But, you know, it's a sad day. But it's what we gotta do. So I'm going to quickly slap down some of these wheat seeds for the time being, just to give me something to work with. And is there anything else that we can sort of wrangle here? I don't think so. Ah, well, not the end of the world. Okay, so let's quickly figure out something vaguely clever, potentially, shall we? Okay. Oh, to be fair, I don't think there is anything particularly clever I can do, which is a shame. Okay, so that tree got absolutely annihilated, so I need to put down another lightning rod there. You know what? Let's replace that with a mahogany tree, because a little bit of extra sap there isn't gonna hurt. So let's try that. That wouldn't be a terrible shout, I don't believe. Be kind of nice, honestly. So let's give it a go. Okay, so we've already got that fine. Okay, so we'll go and have a quick look at the animals, and we'll quickly grab these truffles. Again, those are just going to get sold. They could get turned into truffle oil. That's probably a better return for me. And probably something I should actually focus on a little bit. Okay, so we're going to grab the milk, and we're going to turn that into cheese, which, again, very sensible, useful plan of action here. Because cheese is valuable. And we like money. Thank you very much. Whoever would have guessed that. Okay. I'm going to grab this battery pack. Hold up. That was I knew, because we had a meteor strike. I genuinely could not figure out for the life of me where it was. Hiding behind one of the barns. Well, that's slightly annoying, but at least we found the damn thing. I mean, yeah, okay, we got a little bit of iridium out of it, but not like anything absurdly useful. But, you know, we got it. Woo. I know, small things. It's not like it's the end of the world. Okay, so let's organize all this mess. And I don't think there's much else that we can kind of work out here. Okay, so let's slap in some of that. We can put some melons in, because melons are useful and we like melons. And honestly, they're just valuable. Like, the melon preserve is... It's got to be at least vaguely reasonable, I guess. This is where my assumption is that it is valuable, but it might actually be worth absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. So, yeah. Frighteningly enough, I could be very wrong, which, again, wouldn't be the first time. Because, as I do painfully often say, I know I'm an idiot, so it's how it goes. Okay. But let's at least see what we can do. Okay. Anything else? Well, do I head back to Ginger Island is the next question, because that's probably not a terrible shout, at least for the time being. Sort of work out if there's anything else I can kind of wrangle from it. So, let's give that a try, at least. Okay, so we're gonna go and visit Clint, because that's a given. We need to go and do that. It's just how this is gonna go. And kind of whether it's super viably useful to do so. Okay, so I'm going to build another shed. Now, I know that's going to take a few days to actually get done, but we are going to build it. And I'm going to build it in the similar location to the other bits. Because, shockingly enough, I want to have them all in a vaguely, reasonably sensible place. And I don't think that's a generally terrible idea. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna put them there. Okay, so who else do I need to give gifts to? So we've got Jazz, Ken, and Leo are the big ones right now. Not too difficult for me to worry about. I mean, it'll happen. It'll be fine. I'll find them later on. It's all good. Okay, so where next? Okay, let's reorganize this. And I think taking a bunch of the tree fertilizer back to Ginger Island with me is probably a very sensible plan right now. Because that way I can essentially ignore what I got going on there. Now, here's good old Clint. Let's process these geodes and see how quickly this fills up my inventory. I've got a bunch of geodes and I probably should have emptied my inventory before I came here. So this is going to take a little while, I think. This is going to be somewhat frustrating. Oh well. My own choices there. But there we go. I will shamelessly admit I skipped a bunch of time there because there were just so many geodes. But I've still got a good chunk of them to work through. Look at all these. Just so many. It's a bit of a pain. Really. Not super the end of the world. But there's just so many damn geodes. But, oh well. We'll live, we'll live. It's just, you know, how this goes. Righty, so let's see what else we can organise here for the rest of the day. Now, of course, breaking all these geodes, we've got, like, the lava geodes. They're probably going to be the best on the way. We've got one bit of marble, which is nice. I just need more. And I also need these aquamarines, and they're the two ones. I didn't realise that I sold all of the damn things either. But, I mean, it made sense at the time, just because I was clearing out inventory. I didn't actually think about needing them. But again, I've not really made a lot of the stuff that needs extra stuff, like the... not really display items, but, the articles of shiny. Because I haven't needed to, or really felt any desire to do so. So, it's a little bit annoying for myself to sort of like realize, oh, actually I did kind of need some of them. And some of them are like ones that I didn't think would actually be useful. So yeah, I do feel a bit stupid on that one. But at the same time, I'll live. I mean, it could definitely be worse. And I will indeed live. So yeah, that's going to be the plan for this one at least. We're going to just sort this out. Okay, so we're now going to make a bunch of these things to break. Not break, sorry. Make the kegs and the Ujima flips. Preserves jars. So they're not going to be too difficult to do. And we're going to get that done. Which would be lovely. And kind of go from there. So we need copper as well. So that's fine. How much copper? Don't honestly know. It's genuinely been so long since I've actually really built, like... I mean, I know I need one each, but it's going to be see how much I've actually physically got. I think it's going to be more held back by the iron. Because I've got less of that than I do the copper. So, that's probably going to be what slows me down. A smidgen. Smidgen. Again, not end of world. Right, so let's slap that in there again. We've run out of coal. That's fine. Because, yeah, we're going to run out of coal very quickly. That's just going to be how it goes for this lot. Being that it does require 8 each time. I think that's the big thing for the preserve jars, is the coal is the thing that slows me down. But, we're going to slap them in here. We've got quite a few. That's good. And... extra is good. So that's those. So we're going to slap the more handy things down. So the kegs. The kegs are going to make more money per end result, whereas the preserve jars are a faster sort of thing. So, we've got a logic, theoretically. So I'm going to cut that down. And I'm just going to fill these with... starfruit, because we've got so much of it from this season. So it's just going to be mass production of wine. And I don't think that's a particularly bad thing. Wine's a good, valuable commodity to have in abundance. And that's kind of where we're going to go from. So yeah, that's the plan at least. Okay, so let's put these yams in here. That's fine. That's all good. Okay, so the yams go in there. And then what else can we do? Okay. So let's drink the espresso. Just give us another bit of a speed boost, because high-speed madness is kind of the game plan at this point. Like, being able to zip around like a crazy person is really what I need right now. Okay. So let's slap in the starfruit. We've got 42 of it, which is fine because we made 42 of them. And let's see what else we can kind of do. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through the eggs. So we've got quite a few eggs to go here. I haven't really done much with the eggs for a couple of days. So again, that's not super difficult to kind of organize and see how well we can do for this. Okay, so I'm going to slap all the mayonnaise in. I really do need to kind of work out what's going to be like the best plan of that one, I think. Maybe? I'll have to figure it out. I'm genuinely trying to figure it out what's going to work out the best way for me. Because honestly, sometimes I will admit I'm just not entirely sure as to what's going to be the most operative and beneficial thing for me. Okay. So let's sort that out there. That's all good. Hunky dory. So we're going to grab some oak resin to make a few more of those, which is, again, nice. Because we're going to get through the oak resin. It's going to be needed. We've got lots of stuff to kind of organise. That's fine. And I'm also debating what flooring do I want to put on in the quarry when I actually, figure out what I want to do with it. Because there is like a method to the madness on that one. Like, what do I want to make it look like? How am I going to work it? What's it going to do? What's the aesthetic I'm going for over there? And again, I've seen people make really beautiful things in Stardew, whereas I'm not about the beauty, sadly. I'm very much about the money at this point. And even when I look at like the stuff that I make in other games like Minecraft, they're lovely in that they work. They're not pretty. Not pretty in any way, shape or form. But they work. And that's always what I kind of go for is, can I get this to work versus is it going to be pretty? And yeah, I know it's not like maybe the greatest plan in the world, but it's how my brain works. Just get stuff done. Don't faff. And yeah, I know it does mean that I end up with some really bizarre nonsense, which that's just how this thing goes. It's what we're doing. But yeah, that's how we're going to do this. So we're going to have all of these lovely berries that we need to harvest. And look at these eggplants. So again, that's useful stuff that's going to give me more coming forwards when it comes to the preserves jars and stuff. Because again, it's useful. So hopefully we can end up with some beneficial stuff, I guess. That's kind of what we're after at this point, isn't it? What can we get that's actually going to give me a good boost? Okay, so we will grab all of these cranberries. Now, cranberries are one of those ones that I'm not entirely sure about. Like, yes, you do get a lot of them. They're useful in some of the cooking recipes. But are they, like, particularly valuable? I don't really feel that they are. But, again, they are a constant generation. They're going to constantly give. And that's kind of what I'm after at this point, is just what can I do to give myself the best likelihood of getting a decent resource? And that's kind of what I'm after here. So, we'll give it a go. Okay, so I'm going to fertilize all these trees. That's fine. Again, that's kind of what I'm after, is just getting these trees planted, getting them fertilized, getting, good stuff coming from them. Okay, so we're going to cut down these ones. We're going to, let's see what else we can do. So cut down these trees because we don't need them. And of course, they just keep growing, so it's not like it's the end of the world, is it? It's fine. It's a thing. They're there. Whatever will we do? Righty, so we'll teleport away. We'll go back to the home farm. And let's just deposit all the gubbins that we've got. Because we've got quite a lot of miscellanea. Which is good. Honestly, it's helpful. And we'll see what we can get out of all this. So I'm going to put all of these other bits of miscellanea away in the preserve jar shed, which I do need to remember to actually change the image of, because of course, like a twit, I accidentally put a meal in its stead. So I do feel a little silly on that one. So again, we're going to put another shed in, and I think that one's going to be another just pure booze shed. Because if I can turn that one into another alcohol making shed, that'll be kind of the best shout for me. Also, the kegs are easier to make than the preserves jars. The preserve jars are good, but they're just not speedy enough for me. And that's fine and all, but it's annoying. So I'm going to have to deal with it that way at least. Now, it's debating what other things do I want to put in. So yeah. Now, I do want the amethysts. Now, the amethyst is going to have to be a thing, isn't it? Yeah. So we're going to go to... we're going to go to the mines. That's the thing. And once we go to the mines, we're then going to try and work our way down. Now, if memory serves, amethysts spawn not every floor, but mostly from floor 40 or 50 onwards. So we're going to go there and we're going to start working our way through and kind of hoping for the best on this one. So again, we're just looking for opportunities to get amethysts. But also, the other advantage of floor 40 onwards is we have the dust sprites, which again I need because they give the have a possibility of dropping coal. And with the burglar's ring, I've got the ability to get more coal, which is good. And that's really what I'm after, is more coal. Because, again, preserves jars. And that's just going to be how this nonsense goes. Okay, so let's murder these horrible bugs. I mean, it's not that late yet, but it will end up late sooner rather than later, sadly. So, you know, we're going to have to deal with that. But it's what we deal with. Okay. So let's see what we can kind of work out at this point. Well, murdering all these bugs is fine. They're not like the end of the world. They're easy enough to kill. And the bats aren't a problem. Yeah, I'm not too worried. It's just a thing. We'll make it. We'll make it work. And again, sort of like working my way through the like further down the mines. It's going to be easy. Still no amethyst though. So maybe they're less likely to spawn because it's the hard mode, or I might just be overthinking things. All the same, I still got an opportunity to gather some resources, and that's all I'm after, is just gathering some stuff at least. Don't care otherwise too much. Right, so we're at midnight now, so I need to be a bit more aware of that, because it's almost time for sleepsy nights. Okay. I mean, imagine getting up at 6 AM every morning, but going to bed at almost 2 AM. That is sheer insanity. And it's not something I ever personally want to end up doing, because that would kill me. Like, I would genuinely just cry. I'd be like, why have I done this to myself? Usually I only get up at silly o'clock if I've got something very important to do, such as catch a plane. Or go somewhere really interesting. And currently I haven't had any of those like for a little while. I mean, yeah, okay, I took a flight recently to the Netherlands, but I've not had anything that's made me go, oh, I really need to get up at 6 AM. No. Righty, so what I will do, though, is I will murder all of these nonsenses and prepare to teleport myself back home. Because that's going to be a sensible plan. Okay, we're going to head on home. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me tonight. Hopefully you've enjoyed my ridiculous ramblings as we work our way through the joys of Stardew Valley and my attempts to make as much money as possible and build everything. The aim of the game here is to try to achieve perfection before the end of year 3. So it's possible, maybe not super expected to be. But if you did enjoy, please do like, share, and subscribe. Do comment, and I do read every comment that comes through, and I do my best to reply to them all. And again, if you've got any ideas or things you'd like to see me do, please comment below, because I'm always excited to try new things. So, hopefully I will catch you again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.